I got to tell you, we haven't covered Cain. Cain going over to the WWE. Now, old news that he was going to pro wrestling, but going to pro wrestling is always a strange thing for me. If you're Cain, right? You're making huge money, you're main event, you're always a good argument for a title shot. The one guy, Stipe, hasn't fought as you. I mean, there's just so many things. If you want to be an MMA star, oh boy, and you could be in Cain's spot, you stay in that spot. So when he goes to pro wrestling, but it's not WWE, there's a part of me that's going, I don't understand this. Is it not about the money? Is it not a cash grab? It's not about competition. It's not about becoming a world champ. What are you interested in wrestling for? I'm sure there's an answer to that question, but I would like to know. I just don't know. So he goes, and all the reports on Cain are just glowing behind this. If you guys haven't followed this, and I'll start from the beginning, everybody that worked with Cain, and Cain is, I don't know, 38, 39, 40. All the reports that were coming in on Cain is just how hard he worked, how dedicated he was, what a pleasant guy he was to be around, how open he was to the new idea and the nuances, and everybody loved him. And that goes through that industry fast. It's no different than MMA. If you're a dick, people know about it fast. If you're a decent guy, people know about it fast. But if you're coachable and you have that work, all of a sudden your age doesn't matter. It really doesn't. If you got that shelf life and that hunger and you're willing to look around and learn and not come in and go, I'm the heavyweight champion, I'm the baddest dude in the world, I could beat all of you up. This is just a fake performance here. You come in with that attitude, they'll run your ass out. So Cain does the opposite. He comes in humble, he comes in hungry, and the word starts to get around pretty fast. I mean, it got back to me, and I'm not in the business. I knew about it. Countless people said, man, this guy is great. What a great guy. So then when you're a big monster, okay, then when you're somebody, and you have to understand, in wrestling, you got to have a couple of things. You either have to look like somebody who's a legitimate badass, and that would take you more back, I understand, to all through the 70s, all through the 80s and into the mid-90s, before the Jerichos and the CM Punks and the Cruiserweights and the Rey Mysterios, before this got introduced. But it's still the history of pro wrestling. You must make people believe you're a badass. Or two, you could just come in and be a legitimate badass. So there's where Cain is. Now, Cain also has the look, but he's not necessarily that great, big, put-together guy. He was kind of small for a heavyweight. He was kind of small for a heavyweight wrestler. He was mid-sized for a heavyweight MMA fighter. 240, 238-ish? The point is, when Cain comes out and people know who he is and the fact that he has beat Brock Lesnar before, and Brock Lesnar is both. Brock Lesnar is a legitimate badass, but he also looks like a badass. If you didn't know his college career and before he ever even went over to the MMA realm and, won championships, if you didn't know any of that stuff, you take one look at him, you buy it. Okay. So on the last second, Cain, who's trained to pro wrestle, I believe under a mask as a luchador in Mexico on a show that, if it's televised in North America, I don't know where the hell it is. At the last second, I mean, this must have been a week or less, he gets to deal with the WWE. Lesnar's in the ring. All of a sudden, music hits. Nobody knows whose music, because Cain's never come out before. And some guy starts walking down the ramp. Now, the average fan in the building wasn't able to react to that. They just don't know who he is. MMA fans watch wrestling, but it's not the other way around, for whatever reason. So some of them knew who he was, but most of them did not. And the TV audience is having a great time because the announcers are letting you know that's Cain Velasquez. He, UFC champion. He beat Brock Lesnar. Beat the hell out of Brock Lesnar in a real fight. Lesnar is selling his ass off. He is putting Cain over to the high. Brock Lesnar's looking scared. He's doing the scared face. He's doing it great. Cain comes in, dumps Brock, ground and pounds the hell out of Brock, jumps out of the ring. Lesnar looks terrified as Cain exits the building. Everything's great. And Cain, when they get to the back, not for nothing, as far as a debut, needs to go up and shake Brock's hand and go, dude, you didn't have to do that for me. That was a cool move. I mean, Brock was a professional to the highest of levels. Now, it still begs the question, due to the fact that the wrestling fans still view Brock Lesnar as the baddest man on the roster. These guys are going to go out to Saudi Arabia and they're going to have a wrestling match. I cannot make believe that Brock is going to put Cain over a second time. I also couldn't make believe for you that that would be best for business because Cain is missing one element. And it's not just the star power. He can make that up in a short period of time. We saw Ronda do that. We saw her make the conversion, and she had a little bit of help, a little splash at WrestleMania and The Rock and the Stephanie. She had a little bit of help. But for the most part, she had to do that from the beginning. She did it very quickly, I must say. Here's Cain's problem is he can't cut a promo. He couldn't do it in fighting. He couldn't do it in... Cain can't cut a promo. Okay, fine. Fine. Let me make a creative suggestion for you. Okay, nobody knows who's going to be the heel and who's going to be the face between those two, including the writers in the back, who may want Cain to come in as the heel because he looks so damn intimidating. Had Brock doing the scary face, which made him vulnerable. Maybe that is their plan, but ultimately they don't get to decide. They get to influence, but the fans will decide who they want to cheer and who they want to boo. If we're left with the element that Cain cannot cut a promo, Brock has never been able to cut a promo. Not that he can't cut a promo, that he's not able to. Vince McMahon has a belief that monsters don't speak and that Brock is a monster. So they brought in Paul Heyman to speak for him, and it has been great. They've done tremendous business. It crossed every T and dotted every I. I will just share for you, Brock Lesnar does have the ability, is great at promo work. Brock is a very, very funny guy. He's very verbose. He's very fun, quite frankly, to listen to. He's good with the intensity, but he's also good with the quick wit. Brock can do this. They just never give him the opportunity. So hear me out. You can't, these guys weren't a tag team. These guys didn't come over as a package from the UFC, and now good for business is to have them split up in front of everybody like Hawk and Animal. It's not that situation. Cain is not established yet. The fans have not decided if they like him or they don't like him yet, or if they do like Brock or they don't like him. They haven't decided. So the switch needs to come with Paul. Paul drops Lesnar. Paul goes to Cain's side. Now they become the heels. Brock becomes the face who was left all alone. Oh, and by the way, the secret that Brock's been carrying around for 20 years in the business is he's great on the mic. Take that. You're welcome.
Uncle Jill, Uncle Jill. There's no bad guy like Uncle Jill.